Podobno najlepsze trio kamer wraca, czyli myślę, że wiecie o kogo chodzi. Zapraszam serdecznie na odcinek, lubimy recenzję, w szczególności to jest Mobi chyba, nie? I So Toilet. Dobra, się pomyliłem. Już nie tracę rachubę, jak oni się nazywają, tak szczerze. Ej, może dzisiaj będzie ten odcinek? On powiedział 2-3 dni, to pewnie jutro, ale fajnie by było, jakby dzisiaj był. Nie, albo jakieś przecieki nowe.
And the most exciting promise that Boom has given to us were his words how Simp Cameraman and Mecha Scientist Cameraman are
No tak, na pewno Mech i zakochany kamera wrócą. To jest mega fajne, nie? Bardzo mnie to cieszy.
Also asked about the state of Plungermans and the Dark Speakerman's existence, he said, "It's pretty possible," referring to their comeback as well. But knowing Boom as a creator pretty well.
Ale jak Dark Speakerman mógłby wrócić? Prędzej Ninja wróci. Dark to może w jakichś retrospekcjach, takie Hall of Fame, coś takiego, nie?
I am sure that he won't leave Plungerman on the side of the road when it will come to the future episodes of Skibidi series. And today, I'm going to prove my theory to you. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the legendary trio of cameramen, all of which may come back to us really soon. And I'm going to share my own predictions with
Ninja, kamera, plunger, Mech, naukowiec i zakochany kamera, tak?
you guys. How will Boom reintroduce them to us? What side they're going to be on, and how they will change when we will see them next time. Get your tea and snacks ready, and prepare to watch this video to the end, because it's going to be awesome. Let's go. And the first cameraman I would like to start with is my favorite cameraman of all.
Zakochany,
And
nie?
unfortunately, he is still severely underappreciated in my opinion. This is no other than Mecha Scientist
A nie zakochany, on o scientiście mówi, naukowcu.
Cameraman, who we've seen
Ale
in
on jest kozak. Ciekawe co to za broń ma. Tu patrzcie, tu jest aparat, czy tu jest kamera, tu jest aparat. Każda broń tu będzie robiła co innego, to będzie mega. Tu jest ta zwykła broń, tu jest jakieś bolce.
episode 54 last time. And since then, he never appeared in the
A myślę, że ten cyborg będzie ulepszony jeszcze bardziej, no bo ta bronie są już trochę przestarzałe.
series afterwards, which I consider to be a great shame. I dedicated a separate video to this Chad because he actually had a really complex story and got his own plot arc with the anti-parasite canon. But why did Boom decide to remove him from Skibidi toilets at one point? And how
Może
will he
dlatego, że
possibly
był
come
zbyt
back?
OP?
And why? Let's talk about it
Czyli
all
za
step by
mocny?
step. But before we do that, don't forget to give this video a like because I appreciate it a lot.
Zostawcie
and subscribe
lajka
to my
i
channel,
subskrybujcie.
as I really want to achieve my goal
Kurde,
in
ja
having
też chcę 500
500,000
tysięcy subów,
subscribers by
ale
the
to
end of the next
nierealne,
month.
nie?
Okay, if you subscribe now, let's move on. So starting from episode 23, Mecha Scientist's plot arc was always tightly connected with the process of technological development and improvement of the Alliance. Because in the earliest episodes of Skibidi series, the confrontation between Skibidi toilets and different forces of the Alliance was built on the constant arms race, where scientists from
No
one
to
side
prawda,
always tried to
cały
outdo
czas
another.
coś wymyślali nowego, nie? I to
And that's where
kamery
our cameraman scientist
i
came to play.
i
So
te
firstly, he
Skibidi.
and his assistants were focused on developing different upgrades for Titan Cameraman and other soldiers. But then he's got a more important mission to do. When Skibidi Scientist managed to create such abhorrent creatures as Skibidi parasites,
No to
the
było
Alliance
słabe,
was put
że
under a very serious
przejmowali
risk,
kontrolę.
as there was no vaccine from those infectious little freaks that would infest some member of the Alliance and make him fight on the side of Skibidi army. And as you remember, Titan Speakerman fell primal victim of that for a very long period of time until he was saved by TV Woman in episode 57. But let's go back to Cameraman Scientist now. So in episode 34, Cameraman Scientist briefly shows up when the Alliance's agents capture the infected Big Cameraman, which means that he was already present at the dawn of the invention of
Ej, to jest ten
anti-parasite
czerwony,
cannon.
słuchajcie, który jest potem w końcowym odcinku pokazany, jak jest na tym wózku chyba, nie? Czy coś
As
takiego
he is
było?
a very important figure among the other scientists of the Alliance. And in episode 35, this cannon gets actually finished and can work against the infected cameramen, and then it gets improved even further in the later episodes of the series. It's also important to mention how our scientist cameraman was gradually losing all of his comrade scientists up the episode 38, where he
No dużo naukowców poginęło, nie? Przez to wszystko. Ale ten naukowiec Larch jest fajny, nie?
became the last
Raz go
member of
tylko
the initial
widzieliśmy.
scientific team that created and tested the anti-parasite weapon. And the fact that he managed to survive only highlights how talented and stoic character he is. Plus, he definitely has a lot of brilliant ideas in his head, and it was revealed to us later when he got to invent something really special aside from the anti-parasite weapon alone. In episode 48, he plays a role of the POV as he is dressed in a white suit, and we know that all the scientists except him were gone by this point. And Plungerman also appears in the same episode fighting along with him. That's why I considered them battle comrades due to episodes 42 and 43.
No tak,
where they
tutaj
were seen
akurat
together
to jest ciekawe, że Ninja Plunger jest jakby z nim połączony, nie? Występował wspólnie.
as agents of the same squad. What if Mecha Scientist is meant to come back together with Plungerman, and that probably he is even going to be the guy who will find out how to help Plungerman? I've got
Tak jak mówię, ja bym się nie zdziwił, jakby ten detektyw kamera był właśnie z mecha tym naukowcem kamerą, jakiś team zrobił drużynę i tam właśnie próbował dowiedzieć się, co się wydarzyło.
a really cool theory about this, but I'll tell you about it a little bit later, so keep watching this video not to miss anything important. And in this exact episode, he got simply cut in two halves by this nasty Skibidi toilet with saws. And now we're going closer to the most important aspect of his character, because he didn't actually pass away, but returned to the series in episode 54, and oh dude, that was so epic. So he comes back with a cool cyborg suit, and since then the name Mech Cameraman was given to him and made him even cooler he already was. The lower part of his body that was cut off by the Skibidi
No,
with the saw claw is
przecięli
gone,
go,
so
kurde,
his
i
upper
przez
part
to
is
było
attached to
słabo,
his new
nie?
cyborg suit. His beloved anti-parasite cannon is still with him, but it was majorly
Ale ten
improved.
aparat jest
It's
ciekawy.
bigger in size now, and equipped with camera screen to make the aiming easier. He also got two cannons to shoot paralyzing and poisonous darts into enemies, and the hypno gun. Did you guys notice how the majority of cameramen soldiers are now able to use different prototypes of the weapons
No
that
różne
Mech
rodzaje,
Cameraman
tak,
invented
tak,
in
to
the
jest
first place?
ciekawe, no.
This proves the fact that Mecha Scientist is a key player
Ja myślę, że jego też przerobią i ulepszą i będzie też miał miotacz ognia czy coś.
and cannot be forgotten due to everything
Albo
that he's
jakieś-
done for the Alliance.
Jakieś, wiecie, jakieś mocniejsze sprzęty, bo teraz Skibidi Toilet też się wzmocniły, nie?
And I believe that he'll be directly connected with both Plungerman and Simp Cameraman, who are also hinted by Boom to return.
Ej, to takie będą drużyna, jeszcze detektyw i w czwórkę będą tam sprawdzać, ale przydałby się jakiś głośnik jeszcze,
And
nie?
let me prove it to you why. Let's go back to episode 54, as it's going to be the most essential episode in terms of that topic, which conjoins all three cameramen I dedicated today's video to. So of course you guys must remember about the legendary glitch toilet that finally got what was coming to him for his sins. Namely how he was stunned by TV Woman's violet glow and then paralyzed by Mecha Scientist's darts. You could clearly see here how Glitch Toilet wasn't unalived, but simply stunned in order to get transported to the cameraman's laboratory later,
potem
and examined
Ninja
as he has
jeździł na
truly
nim.
unique abilities that would be really useful for the Alliance to copy. And considering how Mecha Scientist was the one who put that little beast down, I expect him to be the most interested one in examining this toilet. Because we know
Nie no,
how much of an
naukowcy na
advanced
pewno
scientist he
przebadali
is,
to nie
and how
ma,
he
nie
could
ma
be
co się
easily
ten
interested in
zastanawiać.
appropriating Skibidi technologies. Although it wasn't shown in this episode clearly, I still assume that it was Mecha Scientist who transported the stunned, glitched toilet to the laboratory and extracted his technology, and that it was also him who later helped Plungerman off-screen to repair from the wounds that he got after episode 57 and to return triumphantly
kurde, on
using
myśli,
the
że to
legendary
mech-
flying wheelchair.
Naukowiec ten pomógł. Ciekawe. No mogło tak być. Wiecie, jak on jest tak zbudowany, to może pomagać w naprawie large'ów i tak dalej,
in
nie?
episode 63. Just think about it. Mecha Scientist already managed to upgrade his body and survive the fatal damage. So he must be really experienced in creating
Ale to nie raczej on sam się nie ulepszył, to raczej ulepszyli go inni, nie?
such difficult upgrades. And who else could have given Plungerman such a tricky device except him? And my theory doesn't end just here. I believe that Mecha Scientist will be revealed as the most important and experienced inventor in the whole Alliance who was alive all this time, but just wasn't participating in any critical battles, as his major specialty is being a scientist after all, and finding a way to create new powerful weapons and upgrades. But I think that there will be even more to it. My idea is that he will be revealed as the head of a department of cameraman scientists, which
No nie, raczej nie. On będzie właśnie takim ofensywnym naukowcem, który będzie walczył, nie?
goal is to solve the mysteries
średnio się
connected to
zgadzam
the
z
original
tym
of Skibidi virus
ISO
and the
toiletem.
secret agent himself. So what if he'll be shown working in pair with Detective Cameraman, who we remember from the secret ending scene of the full version of episode 70? And moreover, what if my theory about Plungerman will be correct, and he will try to contact some of the Alliance's members in order to help them reveal the secrets of Boom? And what if Mecha Scientist or Detective Cameraman will be the exact ones to get in touch with Plunger Man? That would be so freaking cool to see if this will actually come true. And I cannot wait for the newer episodes to come out, so we'll figure it out.
No ja też bym chciał, żeby odcinek już wyszedł. Długo na niego czekamy. Wiem, że będzie podzielony na dwie części, no ale
But that's not
kurde.
all I wanted to talk with you guys about today, as there is another extremely important character that was abandoned by Boom
Zakochane
a very
kamera.
long time ago, and whom I also love dearly. Yeah, that's our beloved simp cameraman. And dare I say, I've never lost my sparkles of faith that this guy will somehow return even when no one else besides me believed in this and already moved on.
Może jego też
I
uleczą
survived the
jakoś,
drought
nie?
and finally got the confirmation from Boom himself that Simp is meant to be seen by us pretty soon. And oh man, I was so happy to actually hear this. And I've got two theories regarding his character, and honestly, I consider both of them pretty logical and possible to come true. So let me describe them to you. Let's start with the optimistic theory first. Do you remember what I said about Mecha Scientist and how he may be directly connected to both Plungerman and Simp Cameraman? So imagine
No,
this.
mówiłeś
After
to,
the
no.
terrible injury that Simp got in the second part of episode 57, it is still possible that he may survive and get transported to the cameraman's laboratory safely by medics of engineers of the Alliance.
Okej.
And there he could be aided by no other than Mecha Scientist.
No to też mi się wydaje, że też będzie takie ulepszenie. Nie? Byłoby spoko. On stracił chyba też nogi, nie? Ten naukowiec,
who
ten
experienced
zakochany.
the exact same injury back in episode 48 and knows already what to do in this case. So, in the first scenario, we could see the return of Simp Cameraman in a cyborg form as well, and he and Mecha Scientist could behave as battle comrades at this point, which would be really wholesome to see. But to tell you honestly, guys, I like the second variant better, although it would be much darker and edgier than the first scenario.
A, no, że on będzie po złej stronie. No, to
Because
też
if we
może.
would go back to the secret ending scene from the full version of episode 70
Nie ma
once
go tu.
again, then we would see how Simp Cameraman couldn't be noticed among the other badly injured cameramen that later got brought back to this facility and restored in peace. And that could only mean one thing. If he stayed alive, then he wasn't picked up by anyone from the Alliance and was left alone in the battlefield. And that he was not only betrayed by
A jak on jest tym niedokończonym projektem naukowca?
his beloved TV woman, but by the whole Alliance in that sense. So it may be so that he could have been picked up by somebody from the Skibidi army instead for whatever reason. Maybe to receive some inside information about the Alliance's plans from him, or to turn him to their side to serve as a
Ej, to by było ciekawe, nie? Jakby go tak zrobili takim eksperymentem.